setting is heavenly, but for ABDULALEM, living in Mayotte is hell. He fled the war in Yemen and for the last 2 months has been living in this bus shelter. To get to this French island, it took him 2 years, travelling more than 4,000 kilometres through 4 countries.
I crossed Yemen, Jordan, Abu Dhabi, took a flight to Kenya, a boat to Comoros, and then Mayotte. The whole trip cost me $3,000.
Like him, more and more undocumented immigrants prefer to arrive on French soil through Mayotte rather than across the Mediterranean, deemed difficult and dangerous. New migratory routes are emerging. For the many undocumented migrants from the neighbouring islands of the Comoros, they are asylum seekers fleeing Africa, or like ABDULALEM, the Middle East.
I learned about Mayotte online by reading articles on social media. People on the internet explained that it was easier to enter the French territory through Mayotte, but in reality it's very dangerous.
Nevertheless, every year the number of undocumented immigrants doubles, and Mayotte, nearly 1 person out of 2 is a foreigner. The island has become a hub of immigration, and all asylum seekers find refuge at the Mayotte Solidarity Association. Tell them to come Friday morning with their children and accommodation certificates. This association, funded by the state to help asylum seekers, is overwhelmed. The director, Romain says that 50 new undocumented immigrants arrive every day.
The territory of Mayotte could be compared to the island of Lampedusa because they both deal with the huge arrival of migrants.
Undocumented immigrants are crammed into overcrowded slums. They are the largest in France without running water or electricity. The director of the association regularly organises visits to this neighbourhood of undocumented Africans.
I hope things will get better for you.
Mayotte does not offer the same rights as mainland France. No financial aid, no work permit, only €1 per day to eat, and there are barely 55 places to stay for nearly 2,700 asylum seekers. This woman from Rwanda lives in this room without a window, lit only by the light of our camera. The rent is €120 per month. I sleep here. Here's the wardrobe where I put my clothes. But we live with snakes and rats. She shares this tin house and a single toilet with 40 other people. She could never imagine living in such conditions when she left her country. We expected to have security here in Mayotte, a French administrative district, but today we don't truly feel safe.
Slumlords rent this type of housing, knowing full well that these people have no income in the territory. The only solution, coping with survival on a daily basis. They may sell onions, cassava or garden produce on the street, or even worse, prostitute their child or themselves just to put a roof over their heads.
Against the slumlords and the smugglers, the French state created the GELIC, a special investigation cell charged with dismantling these networks. The investigators monitor their phone communication and analyse new migrant pathways created with the help of tourist visas and connecting flights via Kenya or Ethiopia.
Our work here is helping uncover organized circuits, migration routes with entry points, and a whole network of middlemen who operate at every level, from the migrants' home countries to mainland France, and all the transit points in between.
One of these migration points is the Pani, a beach in the south of Mayotte, and at 300 kilometres from Madagascar, it's the place where many undocumented African immigrants land. The sub-prefect in charge of the fight against illegal immigrants wants to strengthen the presence of security forces to catch smugglers who organise new migration routes that join the paths taken by Comorian immigrants.
The Comorian and African networks are for the moment quite distinct from each other, but there are similarities between the two. In a way, they help each other by sharing strategies and information.
The influx of new undocumented immigrants from Africa or the Middle East come mainly through these southern beaches that are less watched by security forces.
We have communications issues here. It sets us back. It means that we are behind in monitoring the networks that are organized, professional and more structured. When they come here, they know that we are weak in certain areas.
The smuggler networks then abandoned these undocumented immigrants to their fate in Mayotte. All, like ABDULALEM, hope to get their papers on this island after 1 or 2 years and one day see Paris and Europe.